Hi, welcome to your virtual orientation of the Autumn Ridge 27 BHS by Starcraft. The first thing we'll look at is the front storage compartment. It is a pass-through compartment and it houses a couple important items. Firstly, we'll turn on the light. A little bit more light on the situation. We have your manual crank for your front electric tongue jack. You also have the manual crank for your stabilization jacks. These stabilization jacks are located at the four corners of the trailer, and they should be used once the trailer is fully level. These should then just be snug to the ground. These should never be used to level your trailer. Just in front of the storage compartment door, we have your solar ready connection point. You can hook your solar panel up here to charge the batteries for your RV. As we move around to the front, we'll make special notice of your battery storage compartment or battery storage area. You have your 12-volt leads to the battery. And we also have your safety breakaway switch. Now this safety breakaway switch is attached to the tow vehicle. In the event that the RV becomes detached from your tow vehicle, it will pull this pin and engage your trailer brakes. Conversely, if you've ever went to pull away, you've just hooked up and you go to pull away and your trailer brakes are stuck on, oftentimes, or what I've seen on a few occasions anyway, is during hookup this gets pulled, but it partially pulls the pin and it's enough to engage the brakes but not pull the pin all the way out. And then we'll take a look at your double 30-pound propane system here. So we have two 30-pound bottles and they are connected with this crossover regulator. Now your crossover regulator, this handle is pointing to this tank. So in this tank, it will be drawn from first, but when this tank drops below a predetermined amount of pressure, and that amount of pressure is determined by the regulator itself, and the regulator automatically will cross over and draw from this 30-pound bottle, regardless of which way this handle is pointed. So on those cold nights, you've got your furnace going, this one runs out of propane. In the past, you'd have to run outside and switch the bottles. Not anymore. Directly in front of that, we have your electric jack for your tongue, your power up and down. We also have this very handy loading light if you're doing a hitch up at night or in the dark. And at the very top, we have this rubber plug. You remove this, and then you can use the manual crank that I showed you earlier in your front storage compartment, and you're still able to raise the tongue of your RV up and down, even if you don't have power at the jack. Continue along. We'll come to the off-door side of your front pass-through storage compartment. There's a couple other items in here. One being the main 30-amp power cord for the trailer. This is what you would plug into the campground power or power at home. Now, not everybody has a 30-amp outlet outside at home, so we also provide you in the trailer with a block to convert this to a 15-amp plug-in. You may not be able to run everything in the trailer off that 15-amp plug-in, but you should be able to run the essentials, especially the fridge. A lot of people will just plug it at home to keep their fridge stuff in the fridge cold. Also included, you have this spray nozzle. I'll show you what you can do with that a little bit later. Let's continue along the outside here. And the next thing that we're going to come to, it's just a rear storage compartment. This gives you outside access to the storage area underneath your bunk. The output for your black water and gray water tanks is here, and your valve handles are here and here. You have your 30-amp power supply. I showed you earlier the power cord that we plug into there, and then you would plug it in, like I said, to your campground power source. Continue along the outside. We'll come to your docking station. Note that this has a little kickstand that will hold the door open for you. Also here we have an outside tap, I showed you in the storage compartment that there is a spray nozzle. It is a quick connect and it will attach into here. Handy to either spray off some dirty children or bikes or anything else. But it is definitely a useful feature. Right below that we have your black water tank flush. You'd hook your garden hose up to this and that would allow you to flush out your black tank. The reasons why you do that, sometimes sensors can get kind of gummed up, and it is a good way to get those sensors working accurately and properly again. Also in this area we have the main cable or satellite TV input for the RV. And we have a diverter valve here that will switch you between a city water connection and your tank fill from this inlet here. Currently with the handle this way, it's in the tank fill position. So if you hook your garden hose up to this connection point, turn on your water, it's going to fill your freshwater tank. With the handle in this position, hook up your garden hose, and it's going to act as your city water connection. What that means, it's if you go to the campground, you take your garden hose, connect it to here with the handle in this position. It'll pressurize your RV with water, and you can use the water as you would use your water at home. So we'll continue on back to where we started almost. Underneath your awning, you want to make note of the head of the awning at this end and this end. You have a speaker. Those speakers can be used with the stereo that is located on the inside of the RV. Also under your awning, we have the venting for your refrigerator. Now it's important that the venting remains obstruction free, as airflow is needed to pass through in order for your refrigerator to work properly. And right below that we have the exhaust for your furnace. Now it does say hot right on there, but anytime I see the exhaust underneath the awning, I just like to make special note that it is in fact hot, just because you have more of a chance of coming in contact with it. We have a GFCI plug underneath the awning, so you can enjoy some TV out here, or whatever you might want the power for. You could plug some appliances in and use them outside under your awning. We have a secondary method to fill your freshwater tank, and that is here. You simply undo this to fill the fresh water. You can always insert the hose in this area, and that will fill your freshwater tank with drinkable water. And you would do that most often when you're doing dry camping or kind of going off grid where there won't be a water supply. Next, we'll take a look at your hot water tank. Important to note here is your pressure relief valve. You always open this pressure relief valve before you remove the plug from the hot water tank. If this is filled with water and pressurized, if you do not open the pressure relief valve first, this will shoot out of there like a rocket. I wouldn't want to be standing in the way. Also in this area we have the reset for the hot water heater. So if it is not working or it's not lighting properly, you may wish to try to reset it. Also on the inside of the cover there are more detailed instructions if you need them. And we're gonna head inside and see what kind of features we have to explore. As we step through the door, we'll turn back around towards the door and we'll see the unit fire extinguisher is located here, as well as another important piece of safety equipment, your propane carbon monoxide alarm. Now there is a button on the front. If you press that, it will test the system to make sure it is functioning properly. You'll hear a series of loud beeps and then it'll return to just a solid green light. That means it is operating as it's supposed to. Now I recommend testing it every 6 months or so. The reason why I say that is it is easiest to do it at daylight savings time. Every 6 months, really easy to remember. And at the same time, you can check the smoke detector that's located up there. I would just go ahead and replace the batteries every 6 months. That way you know it's always functioning. And then when you do that, press the button here and make sure this is also operating as it's supposed to. Right inside the door here, we also have a USB charging port. And above here, just inside the door, we have the main controls for the unit. You'll see we have switching for your water heater and water pump, as well as indications for the tank levels of your fresh, black, and gray tanks, as well as your battery level. We also have your slide control, awning control, and the main lights for your awning outside and the main lights for the trailer inside. So we'll turn around and we'll take a look in your bedroom. And as I noted inside the door there, we also have your USB charging station in the bedroom at the side of the bed. There is under bed storage. The bedroom is pre-wired and set up for a TV. There's a bracket location, as well as a 120 volt power and your output for your cable or satellite. If we just slide open this blind here, we'll take a look at your emergency exit. To utilize the emergency exit, press down on the black tab, push the red handle over, and it should pop out perpendicular to the wall of the trailer or the window itself, and just push the handle all the way out of the trailer. Then pull the screen and you can escape to safety. So as we venture on into the main area of the trailer, we're going to turn around, take a look at your TV, and in this case it also acts as your radio or stereo. I want to make sure that you're aware of the signal booster for the antenna. You can see that red light on, off. That's turning the booster on and off. When you go to utilize or use your cable, it's important that the booster is off, otherwise it will interfere with your signal. We have a remote that will operate the TV and the stereo together. I'm not going to go through every function on here. I just want to make note of the speakers and zones. We have color coded and letter coded. Zone A is red here and here, and zone B is green here and here. And what that'll allow you to do is, by pressing this button, it'll give you control of the volume for zone A. Pressing this button will give you control of the volume for zone B. And then using these volume up and down buttons, once you've selected the desired zone, you can switch the volume up and down. Now this stereo also offers Bluetooth connectivity, HDMI connectivity, and USB connectivity. So let's venture in a little bit further, and we'll take a look at your range top and stove. Your range is pretty straightforward. You turn your knob to the light position, and then you turn the sparker knob. Same for all three top burners. Turn to the light position, that's the little flame. Make sure it lines up with the triangle, like so. Flame, triangle, and then turn the sparker knob. The oven is lit in the same fashion. Always open the door first, and same with the range top. Always open the glass top. Do not light the glass range top with it closed. Same with the oven. Open the door, turn it so the flame is in line with the little triangle there. And then to light the stove, the only difference is we need to press and hold this knob in while we turn this sparker. Continue along to your refrigerator. We'll see that it is has three functionalities, I guess. We have a straight gas option, we have a straight electricity option, or we have an auto option. I have connected it to the gas, and the bottles aren't turned on at the moment, so what we should see when it doesn't light properly is this light will turn red, indicating that it was unable to light. So when that happens, turn the power off, wait for a minute, come back to it, try it again. Chances are either A, you forgot to open the valves on the bottles out front, or there just hasn't been enough pressure built up in the system, and it might take a second try to light it. Next we'll come to the thermostat for the RV. This thermostat is a capacitive touch. That means you do not have to mechanically depress it. It's very light touch is required. And you just cycle through the auto fan settings, your air conditioner or your heat. I will note that as far as the fan settings go, but if the fan is set on high, then when you go to use the furnace, it'll actually run the fan into the AC as well. So if you find that you're trying to run your furnace and it sounds like your AC is on, come back here and take a look at the settings and set it to auto. It should stop the AC from also blowing. Now, it doesn't actually blow cold air, it just uses the fan on the AC unit to circulate the air. Let's step into your bathroom. And the most important thing in the bathroom, I'd say, other than I guess your toilet and your tub, would be the GFCI plug. The GFCI plug, if tripped, will have a red light on here. And if you see that red light, that means anything on the load side of the plug won't be functioning. So you'd hit the reset button, that would reset the plug. And most notably, you would notice it on the outside plug or any plug near water, so your counter plugs, they would not be functioning. So we're gonna turn around and take a look at the bunks, just that you have USB charging capabilities here as well. And we also have an emergency exit in the bottom bunk. It operates the same as the one that I showed you previously in the bedroom. Now under this bunk, we have access to storage. And I showed you earlier, you also have access to the storage from the outside. Now, when using your air conditioning, you have a couple options. One, you can leave these baffles open and the AC's on. The majority or almost all of the air will fall right here. However, if you close the baffles, it will then force the cool air to these ports located throughout the trailer. Okay, we're going to show you the power center or the load center of the RV. This is where you'll find the breakers like you might find in your house, as well as the fuses like you'd find in your car or vehicle. There are red lights that will light up to indicate that a fuse is burnt out or not functioning properly. We'll open this cupboard here. It might look a little messy and jumbled, but that's because I preemptively opened it up a little bit here, just so I didn't have to be trying to use drills and shooting a video. The reason why I did that is because this is the location of your hot water tank and your water pump. A couple things to note is your fill hose for your water pump is here, and there's also a valve, if you come in and look, right here. So right now this valve is pointing, and the handle is pointing in this direction in line with this. That means it will draw from your freshwater tank. Now, if I was to turn this handle, it then aligns in the direction of this fill tube here. That would indicate that you are drawing water from this fill tube, and that would basically be any liquid that you put at the other end of it. Most importantly would be antifreeze, and this is how you would winterize the RV. Now on the hot water tank, we have those same style of valves. It's a little hard to see from this area. I will show you a little bit here, and there's also another access point on the other side of it. But it has the same valve handle there and here on both the hot and the cold lines. In order to put it in summer mode or to use your hot water tank, you have the valve handles pointing in towards the tank as it is now. If you want to bypass the hot water tank because you're going to be winterizing, then you would turn those valve handles in line with this piping here, and what that does is then bypasses your hot water tank, so you're not filling it with antifreeze needlessly. And as I said, I've already taken the screws out of here. Sorry about that, I took the screws out previously, but here is the other access point, and you can maybe get a better idea or a better look at the valve handles that I was talking about there. So again, right now they're pointing in towards the tank, so this would be in summer mode, or you'd be putting water and taking it out of the tank basically at this point with this setup of these valve handles. Well, that does it for our virtual orientation. If there was something that you wanted some more information on or more details on, we'd be happy to provide that for you. Give us a call and we'll help any way we can. Thank you.